Now to our legal analyst, Jeff Hosford from Hosford Law Firm, to talk not specifically about this case, but jury deliberations in general. Jeff, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
In this particular case, it took the jury, I think, about 2 hours, but we have seen and covered cases before where it was hours and hours and even into the next day before a jury came back with a verdict. Let's talk a little bit about the process.
Well, typically the jury, they sit through the trial and they hear all the facts as presented in the court. And only the evidence that's admitted into evidence is presented to the jury. And then they make a decision based on that evidence whether or not the person is guilty of the law they're being charged with. So they basically apply the facts to the law. And the reason it can take some time is sometimes people look at it and they see what they see, and then the person next to them may not agree with that. And if they don't agree, they have to try to see if they can work out an agreement, and that's where the time usually comes into play.
They're also considering the instructions that they have been given by the judge. Very briefly explain to us what jury instructions are.
Jury instructions are basically the law. They tell the jury what they can and cannot consider and what the law says they have to consider. And once the jury is given those, then they have to follow the law. The jury does not determine the law. The judge presents that to the jury, which is a common misconception. Most people think the jury decides everything. All they decide really is the facts as applied to the law that the judge gives them.
And very often you will see a jury come back out because they'll have a question for the judge. Again, this is not the judge telling them what to do, but it's often the judge clarifying a part of the law that maybe they don't understand.
Well, as in anything in the law, sometimes things can be a little bit confusing. You have enough lawyers writing something, I'm sure there's going to be something confusing in there to anyone. So what happens is the judge sometimes has to say, well, this is what this means based on the question presented from the jury. And the judge can do that. Now, he can't go into the facts, but he can definitely say, you have to apply this law as though it means this to those facts, and then you make your own determination.
All right, serving on a jury certainly is very important work. Jeff, we appreciate your perspective. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.